Hey guys. All right, today is Thursday the 28th, and today we started off with math with our division lesson in Seesaw. So if you go over to Seesaw, and actually let me get out of this tutorial stuff. Talk about that in a second. All right, so in Seesaw, if you go to your activities, and you go down to your math. Come on, edit. Now I froze the whole thing. Let me see here. Oh, there it goes. Decided it liked me all of a sudden. All right, so let's go down, 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 down. All right, so we're on the green pages down here on page 16. So this first one, and this was just a review of some problems that we did, and just getting ready for our division test that we have tomorrow. So it says in 8 trips, Keisha will carry a total of 158 books into a book room. If she carries about the same number of books on each trip, which is the best estimate of the number of books she'll carry on her first trip? And so down here I have my work, so we can make this bigger here. And so here I started off, move this over. Here I started off with a total right here, this 180, or I'm sorry, 158 books right here. And then I said, okay, I know she's got that as the total of books. So I'm thinking about like a table just full of all these books. And then she's going to carry them, and she's carrying the same number of books on each trip. And it wants to know the estimate of how many she's carrying on the first trip. So she's taking 8 trips, and each time she's got the same number. So I drew 8 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I said, okay, well, if she's got 158 as the total, and I know she's going to take 8 trips, I got to find out how much is in each of those. So I did 158 divided by 8. That's right here. And I found that answer. Well, that is the actual answer. So I want to find the estimate, and now I'm going to take my actual answer and I'm going to say, okay, is this actual answer, if I look at it and I look at my estimate, is it reasonable? When you talk about estimates, estimates are just, about how many did she take. Oops, hold on. Let me get my grab. There we go. So when you look down here, we said 158 rounds to 160. So it's about 160. And then 160 divided by 8 is 20. Oh, goodness. 20. There we go, 20. So is that 19 remainder 6 close to 20? Are those things reasonable? Yes, they are. So I feel confident with my answer there. So be on the lookout for that that word, either where if it says like, you're finding an estimate of something, or you're rounding something, or it's about something, then, just be on the lookout that that's what you're going to do. So I always like to find the actual answer first and then compare it with the estimate. On this next one, bring this back over. On this next one, we have Ricardo, and Ricardo has he has some grapes. So he has purple grapes and he has green grapes. So here I drew a box. I represented how many purple grapes he has, and then I represented how many green grapes he has, and it says he's going to give half to his brother. Well, before we can give half to our brother, we have to know how many we have. So we found the total was 32, and then we took that. In order to find half, you divide it by 2. So this is one of those problems where you don't need to actually solve and get a final answer. You just need to talk about the process that you would take to get that. So we went with C because first, all of these had the 8 plus 14. All of that part was correct. This part times 2, that's not how we found half. Plus 2, that's not what we did. Minus 2, that's not what we did. We divided by 2. So C is our answer on that one. So we divided by 2, and that's how we got what half would be. So again, you don't need an actual answer. You just need to talk about the process that you took to get that answer. All right. Then you guys have page 17 to do. Again, please take a picture of your whiteboard or your notebook and upload it here. Same thing with this one. And then make sure you record yourself explaining how you solved the problem. And on number 4, make sure you put your answer in the right place value position. So this first box, if this is the decimal point, this first box is the 100, then the 10, then the 1, then the tenths, and the hundredths. Okay, so make sure you're putting things in the right spot. All right, so after that, we went to Aware, and the kids had a CFA today in math. It was just 3 questions, a little quick check over multiplication and division, and so they did that. And then in reading today, we went to activities, and today we compared Paul Bunyan. Let me bring this up here. I don't know why this ever likes me when I'm on the video. In class, it's not this bad. I start recording, it doesn't like me. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're down here on Thursday. So our job today, we are identifying the characteristics of tall tales by comparing 2 stories about Paul Bunyan, and we're also examining the realistic elements within a tall tale. So even though, as you listen to the story and read it, you'll find. I mean, it's obviously fiction. There shouldn't be any question that it's fiction, but you'll find those little pieces of realistic elements throughout it. So I told everybody, as you're reading, to be on the lookout for that. So we read all about Paul Bunyan, and then we still doing the same with the comprehension questions, where you are taking wherever you found this answer highlighted in blue, this answer highlighted in yellow, and so on. If you can go back to the text and find your evidence, and then your book that you're comparing it with is an epic. This is what it looks like here, and the comparisons go here. And then at the end, we talked about, Paul Bunyan is a fictional character, but there are many of those realistic elements within his story. list as many as you can. So we talked about when it. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. We talked about the how it says that he's the one that created the Grand Canyons, and when his pet ox Blue was thirsty, he dug out the Great Lakes, and that's why we have the Great Lakes. So there's these little pockets of realistic elements in within all of the fiction. Majority, yes, is all fiction, but you get those little pieces. So we were talking about those, and then we got into small groups. And all right, so Group C started putting they were reading a story where all the groups are reading a story about oil rigs and oil spills and things like that. And one group is reading about the nature reserve in Alaska, and another one's reading about the Gulf Coast oil spill. So, Group C, the one that they're reading about, they were deciding and making an opinion about whether or not we should be drilling for oil in this spot that has a lot of oil available. And then they were making an opinion about it and then stating their opinion, and then our what we were practicing today was going back to the text and finding facts to back up our opinion. So not just saying something, but having those facts and that evidence to to back it up. Then the other groups were reading the Gulf Coast oil spill. We talked today about strategies that we can do when we get to words that we don't know. And so just thinking about the sounds, letters, base words, prefixes, suffixes. And so we did some practice today with the dictionary where we were looking up words, looking at the pronunciations, looking at what they mean, taking it back to the story and applying it, and just, doing that to help us better our comprehension. All right. In writing, we're a little bit behind in writing because we hadn't finished this one right here, the Monday through Friday writing dialogue. And so we kept going here. And so we're on this last part. Or actually, there's another part after this. And we started on page 20. So in this section here, you're identifying the speaker, which is now in the middle. So the speakers right here said Josh. And so the parts where he's speaking is before and after. So you have open your quotes, well, comma, close your quotes because he stops talking, said Josh, comma, we're pausing, open your quotes because he's going to finish, you are nice, period, end your quotation marks. So here this just looks a little bit different. That one right there is with the statement. Here's an example with a question mark. It's the exact same, but notice instead of that period at the end, now we have a question mark. And then same thing here, the exclamation when she's yelling. So notice you've got that comma and that comma. Here you've got that comma and that comma. Here you've got the comma and the comma. All right, so that's repeated. And then same thing, let me start back up at the top. Open quote, close quote, open quote, close quote, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. So looking for those, every time you open, you have to close it. If you reopen it, you have to close it again. And so those commas there, they help the reader pause. And then the actual sentence, like this, let's look at this one. The actual sentence is why did you do that? So you leave this as a lowercase letter because it's just a continuation of what is over here at the beginning. So it's like you took that sentence and you just cut it and put one part over here and one part over here. You don't capitalize this letter here because it's a continuation of what you started. Okay, you're just finishing. All right, so then here we skipped that part. Tomorrow we will do this very last section. All right, so then we went to our, we did the comprehension, and we're behind on this too. So we're more over here on the Wednesday, which is no problem. We can keep going. So we kept on working with that body paragraph and including those descriptive words to describe our favorite place. So all of that is in Seesaw. And you go down to writing. Let me open this up, see if this one likes me. All right. So this here is, let's see, we are down here on the body. All right, so let's go back to page 3. So again, riding motorcycles, playing in the dirt, collecting petrified wood. All of this is those things that I'm mentioning that are there and available when I go to my grandparents' lake house. These are the things that, you know, it's my favorite place. This is why it's my favorite place. So now I'm taking those 3 things and I'm breaking them down. So here I'm talking about that motorcycle. Here I'm talking about the big sand pile. Here I'm talking about the petrified wood. So those 3 things, I want to keep it short, sweet, and simple at the beginning. I'm just introducing the idea. And then I come here, and this is where I get descriptive. So really explaining what I mean and really going into detail about just about it, all of those things. All right, so then um, we really just had some work time on that. We didn't really do anything new today. It was just more time to work on building those body paragraphs. Tomorrow we will start working on the conclusion. So that was that. And when we talk about descriptive words, it's really like, we talked about, you want to paint a picture for the person that is reading your paper. You really want them to be able to visualize and to see what it is that that's happening. You want them to be able to it's like they're there with you. So explain to them, what do you see, what do you hear, all those senses. What does it feel like when you're at the beach and you put your feet in the sand, or you run across the hot sand and you jump into the cool water. Paint that picture with your words, and that'll really help them connect with your story. So today we had library today, and we had a guest speaker. And so for science, this is blank here. Tomorrow, make sure you get these items. We have an investigation tomorrow that we'll do. So you need the orange, either the skewer or the toothpicks, a black Sharpie, and a flashlight. And then for social studies, we did the Thursdays page. We watched this video. You can click this here. And then if you would like to watch this one after, you can do that as well. And then during intervention time, we continued to work on our writing. And then that was our day. So I will talk to you guys later, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.